This is a handful of the 25 people who've been killed in Macon so far this year. Some of their photos look like they could have come out of a yearbook, and they just may have, because all of these boys are teens, some of them still students at the time of their young death.
I know two people that were supposed to graduate with us. They both died the same way. They were shot in the head.
6 teenagers were killed in 2020 and 2021, but in 2022, that number jumped to 16, nearly tripling from the years prior.
Makes me not want to be here. Makes me want to move somewhere else or like go somewhere else. And I know violence is everywhere, but 16 people that I've probably been in the same room as, been in the same space as, may have gone to the same school as, it's far too close to home to not feel it.
Jasmine remembers a time she was on the phone with a friend and could hear gunshots ringing out in his neighborhood. She says they were so loud, she instinctively ducked.
The next morning, we found out that a boy in my grade had been killed just a street over. So those were the gunshots that we heard.
At 18 years old, Jasmine Revels is older than 4 out of the 5 teens who've been killed so far this year. She's a senior, graduating from Northeast High School. Jasmine describes her childhood as,
I'd say pretty bad, pretty bad.
She says she had to grow up fast. Her father is incarcerated and she no longer has a relationship with her mother. Despite the traumas of her adolescence, Jasmine is the valedictorian of her class. But even though she's allowed her self-described trauma to propel her forward, she says some of those same traumas are what pull others down.
That's why I feel like so many of us turn out the way that we do, because we're so angry from things that are happening to us at home that we go out into the world and we don't know what to do with that anger. We don't know how to cope with it.
She believes from her own experience, the way to change the tide is through mental health treatment in the classroom, so it can be accessible to everyone.
Starting as early as elementary school, letting students know that they have an outlet, letting them talk about the things that they feel without silencing them or kind of making them think that everything's okay when it's not.
Jasmine says in a perfect world, these kinds of safe spaces and coping skills could be developed at home. But unfortunately, for students just like Jasmine, the world at home is far from perfect.
If you're growing up your whole life and every other day you're losing a family member, you know, you're 6 years old and you've already been to 8 funerals, that does damage. And the fact that we fail to recognize that, or the fact that the people that should be helping us, they fail to recognize that or acknowledge that or pretend like everything's okay, it's not fair to us, because then we grow up in situations where we become more violent or we become victims of violence.
Reporting for Project Macon, Brittany Miller, WGXA News.